Now, on matters politics today, I think we'll be focusing on one of the most interesting topics, and that is about the First Lady of Migori County, that is Madam uh, Hellen Obado, now Hellen Odie. And the reason why we are actually focusing on her is uh, there's a lot of noise in the air about why she decided to drop her husband's name, Obado, from her campaign. Of course, materials. And before we go to Hellen, probably let us look at the various women who've been in power and, of course, benefited from their husband's name. And we would take, for example, Hillary Clinton. And for Hillary, this was the first lady between 1993 and 2001, and of course she became the U.S. Secretary of State from 2009 to 2013. She would earlier on become the U.S. Senator from New York from 2001 to 2009, of course. I remember this was a Democratic presidential candidate in 2008 and of course 2016. And I remember one time there was a lot of debate on whether Bill Clinton was useful for her campaigns. Now I'm saying this because Bill Clinton was a very controversial U.S. president, because I remember the Bill Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. I believe this was between 1995 and 1997. Now this was a sex scandal involving the U.S. President Bill Clinton and 24-year-old White House intern known as Monica Lewinsky. And I would equate this to the Obado Sharon case, but not as such. Actually, the difference is that Clinton ended in 1998 a televised speech saying he did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. Another similarity is that Lewinsky was a graduate of Lewis and Clark College, just the same way Sharon was for Orongo University. Now, I make reference to this because it is the most talked about scandal about Governor Obado, of course, much to date. We don't know who ended the life of Sharon, who was pregnant at the time of her, merciless murder. But I hope her killers will be brought to face the full force of the law. I would not want to speculate much on that, but I know it's the courts to really vindicate Obado, or rather have him culpable. Now let us focus on Migori First Lady, her candidature, especially on the possible reasons why she dropped the Obado name from her campaigns, and we're looking at a few. Let's do 1 to 10, probably beginning from number 10. And I have a feeling at number 10, let us say there's, of course, too much negativity in the public domain over the Obado administration, from court cases to county books of accounts not really adding up. And then there's much of, Melissa Wende shout in the street. I think that would actually make Hellen to take a U-turn in terms of using that particular name for her political branding, because she feels, or rather everybody feels, she should be packing and going with Governor Obado home. Now, let's go to number 9. Number 9, there's that mentality that she doesn't necessarily have to go home with her hubby, so because constitutionally he's finishing his second term, and Hellen feels she has, that special leadership skills and political talent she has to exhaust. Now, in this case, I think Hellen is trying to differentiate herself from the governor, and she's taking few responsibilities, especially on things that went wrong, and she feels if Obado had his unique way of governing this county, she could have as well had her own unique ways of becoming a representative for the women of this particular county. Now, she reserves that, particular right or other opportunity, because they may be married, but there may be people of different interests, different aspirations, different attributes, and that takes us to number 8. Now, to avoid naysayers claiming she's using county resources to campaign, Hellen wants to, portray the image of an outsider, associating with Obado would employ she enjoys government funding as an aspirant. Now, I think this is tactical because anybody else who would see the Obado name in the street would rather feel, these are our monies. This is the taxpayers' money. This is the county government money that is actually being used for the campaign. So for Hellen, I don't know whatever source she's using to, get her campaign funding, or rather maybe she just has her own businesses funding her own campaign. But I feel she doesn't want to associate much with the county government, and she doesn't want to take blames for being, that particular candidate who is using county resources to campaign. Now, at number 7, I think there's that urge to be unique and different, and anyone who found her easy to ride over if she brought a predictable brand to the race. Especially, she believes the other hidden, names we hardly knew about could also give her political mileage. Now, I think Hellen wants to be different. Everybody thought she would come in and campaign as Obado, and you'd see the other face of Obado that probably we liked or we didn't like. But for us, she's decided to come with different names. So it makes her stand out as a unique candidate, and I think she wants to remain unique for the fact. We won't dwell much on that, and we'll jump over to number 6. There's a bit of marketing strategies that are involved in politics. For you to be in politics, you have to know how to move into the streets, or rather get to the heads of the people. And I think she wants to start controversy, and of course speculations, have an edge over her opponents in what we call, creating a conversation which would make her candidature stand out. There are questions of, are they divorced, are they separated, and even mere misunderstanding would give her sympathy votes, considering she shares divergent views from those of Obado, who is supporting Ruto, whereas Hellen supports Raila. Now, you understand even her coming into, to run for the position of a women representative from Migori County. It was sort of, a surprise, because she came later than, actually latest, among all the candidates that we have for that particular position. And after coming in, then she comes and says she's no longer Hellen Obado, she's Hellen Odia. And then to some extent she says, much as my husband supports William Ruto, for me I support Baba, and it's my personal, and I have the right to, support whoever I want for the position of president. So Hellen has proven to be one very controversial candidate, and for the numbers I would say it's good, because it also beats the time difference from which she should have campaigned at the onset. So she comes in, changes her name, becomes, divergent from her husband's views, and all of a sudden she picks and sweeps the street. I think that is a good political strategy for Hellen. Now, number 5. There is that aspect that she believes in what a man can do, a woman can do better. So by dropping the Obado name, she's bringing the aspect of a superwoman who can stand on her own without the support of a man, an independent woman. And I think number 5 speaks a lot, especially for the girl child, because we have in the same race. I think I can mention a few names like Lillian Akugo, who is of course branded as the wife of Akugo, and you realize that name is actually in her campaigns. And for Hellen, she's decided to drop Obado. So you can actually tell the difference, that Hellen wants to appear as if she's an independent woman who actually thinks on her own and does not have much influence of her husband in her campaigns, and probably she's doing things on her own. So she wants to inspire the ladies out there that, whatever man can do, even a woman can. Now, at number 4, we have, that proof of self-confidence. Hellen is keen, very keen on, proving to the electorate that she does not have the, she doesn't have to hibernate under the Obado shadow to survive in politics. That no matter what it takes, she's ready to take political criticism as Hellen, with less focus on the first family thing. Now you look at that. This is somebody who's coming from a very controversial family, and of course the questions in the street will be, are you going to come in with the same leadership skills that probably we never wanted from the first regime? I believe Obado had his strengths and he had his weaknesses. But for Hellen, she wants to start on a fresh page without really considering what happened in the Obado regime, and she's coming up as a politician of her own brand and her own niche, and that is what she believes in. At number 3, Hellen Odia somehow she gives the confidence to the girl child that taking their stand and acting within their own conscience needs some self-driven courage. In case Governor Obado may not have approved of her bid, then she probably must have come out in person to take up the seat without him. So it means that at some point, maybe the decision to run for women representative did not really go down well with Obado, maybe because he felt the family has gone through a lot and he's not ready to spend more into Hellen's campaign. So I believe even if he did, but Hellen had much to do with the decision making on whether I, as a woman, I should go for this. It seems like she made a personal decision to run, and probably not a massive family thing, or rather having the entire county government sitting down to say, we are going home, but we have to leave one of our own in the office. I think that is what Hellen is trying to separate. Now at number 2, which is very critical, there is that aspect that Hellen is trying to carry the Odia family name high. Of course, she knows very well Governor Obado, and of course the in-laws will not hang on his coat forever. For the last 10 years, I believe Governor Obado's in-laws have been hanging on Obado's coat, and they must find their own path now that Obado's next political move is, of course, oblivion, not known. And so introducing her family name may as well stamp an unresistible respect for the Odias, especially to find it easy to set a new political footing or record. I think this is actually self-explanatory in the sense that, now that Obado is going home, we don't know what's next for him, especially in the next government. You see, William Ruto might become the president, and Obado finds himself somewhere. But I have a feeling Raila is most likely to become the next president, if I'm not wrong, and that might leave Obado in a really, a tricky position. So he might go home, or he might find himself into, becoming a citizen with private, activities and businesses to do. So Hellen feels the Obado name might at one point, disappear in the wind, and now she has to start grooming her own family name so that at the end of the day, they have a stepping stone, especially for their, for their political careers. Now, as we finish up with number 1, and probably this is the last one, I think Hellen is trying to confuse her competitors. It's a good strategy for politics. Actually, this is the most important part, because for one to thrive politically, the opponent or competitor must not know your secret cards. Hellen knows stepping away from the Obados could protect her from answering as many claims on how the decade-long Obado administration worked. It's even more important to her because she has not directly been involved in county governance. This gives her the chance to take credit for the good and trash away, the bad. One fact that stands out is that she's a good mobilizer, by the way, and knows how best to keep the electorate's stomach full, because she feeds them with manifesto. She's actually very wealthy, by the way, and of course surrounded by political think tanks who, let her money work things for her. So Hellen is famous and popular, which is a clear understanding of what the office of the woman rep comes with. Of course, for you to get votes, you have to be a name out in the streets, and of course she's been a name. we know him for probably quite a lot of good and probably bad, and I think we'll put an end to that at that, and that has been the 10 reasons, and of course key reasons why Hellen decided to drop the Obado name from her campaigns and just decided to be herself and risk running as Hellen and not the Obados. That is all for now. Let us meet in our next analysis. Of course, do not forget to subscribe, and if anything, please email us at bonyeza@gmail.com. Goodbye.